Alright guys, so we're going to take the Extra Tough Multipurpose Cleaner. I'm going to spray one side of this with full strength. Then I'm going to spray this other side with an 8-to-1 dilution ratio. So I'm going to start with the 8-to-1 first. And we're just going to see how much of the Extra Tough will actually remove this bonded dirt from this construction vehicle. So here's my 8-to-1. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit for a minute, but what I want to show you is how much of the dirt is actually being removed. That's the looser dirt, right? And you can see how much browning. I'm going to give you different angles of how it's pulling that off, okay? So I've given it about 30 seconds or so, and I'm going to take just the pressure from the spray head, okay, of the 8-to-1, and I'm going to see how much more of this can I remove with just the pressure of the spray head and the chemical itself. Okay, so there you go. It used to look like that, and now it looks like that. So that's an 8-to-1 dilution ratio of the Extra Tough Multipurpose Cleaner degreaser. So down here where it was the absolute thickest, okay, we can still see that there's a little bit of residual of the dirt that has attached itself to the vehicle. Of course, this is the closest to the road, right, where you get a lot of heat from the road, which also helps dirt to bond pretty significantly to your car. All right, and I'm going to spray this just to see if it penetrated it enough to remove it. And it did. So that's an 8-to-1. So if you were washing your vehicle and you wanted to reduce the amount of sand and dirt and grime that's attached to your vehicle before you actually touched it with a washcloth or a microfiber towel, whatever, okay, that's how much dirt would actually come off by itself with Extra Tough alone. So now I'm going to take this side as promised, and we're just going to do full strength. I don't think we need full strength. If 8-to-1 works that well on that side, I really don't see the need for wasting any more chemical. But we're just going to do it anyway for the sake of just showing the power of full strength. Sorry about that. So I'm going to let that sit for a second, okay? And we're going to allow the Extra Tough to penetrate the actual dirt, okay? Because what happens with dirt, okay, when heat reacts with dirt and from the road and it gets onto your vehicle, it acts like a magnet. Okay, so the magnet literally sticks to the car, okay? The magnet of dirt bonds to the vehicle, okay? And so Extra Tough was actually developed to remove the magnetism, if that's what you want to think of. You know, this is just an example, okay? So that it gets underneath it and it does the work for you to remove heavy grime. So I'm taking my full strength again, okay? And I'm going to spray on here just to see how much of this is removed using the actual spray head itself. So let's look in right here. See that? So it has basically removed the bond pretty much. So if you were to take a pressure washer to this, right, it would just wipe it off without you having to do anything. Let's look down here where it was really, really heavy. Okay, so I'm going to come here. And how about the bottom? All right, so we had this little spot right here. That's a little bit harder to get off. Okay. As you can still see the streaks? It's still getting underneath it. And so this might need a little bit of agitation here. Okay, so if we look back at the whole thing, it used to look like that, right? So now I'm going to take the actual water hose here, and I'm going to rinse off. Now the purpose of showing you this is just to show you how Extra Tough removes the bond of the dirt, okay? And how effective it is at taking it off. We have that one spot right there, it's kind of stubborn, right? Okay, look at the rest of it. It's pretty amazing. I'm going to try to focus the camera a little bit more here. There we go. Yep. All right, so I'm going to rinse. And that was with no agitation, okay? So if I wanted to take my 8-to-1, right, and I wanted to try something that's this clean, okay? I'm going to spray this on. And then I'm going to take my microfiber towel. And we're going to do a slight agitation. I'm going to pause this for a second so I can grab my towel. Okay, so what I did was I wet my microfiber towel and I want to lightly wipe over this just to see how much actual dirt is left on the vehicle. Okay, it was pretty heavy. Remember, it used to look like that. Okay, so we did our pre-treat of the Extra Tough. All right, and here's the towel. I'm gonna zoom in on that towel. Look at that. There is very little dirt on there after it looked like that, just by using the pre-treat of the Extra Tough itself. Okay, so that just goes to show you how well Extra Tough removes the road film, the grime, the grease, the everything else that will get onto your vehicle. So if you're really big on not getting any swirls into your car and you want to get as much of it off as you can, this is a fantastic product. And this side right here was diluted 8-to-1, and it did that. Okay, this was full strength. So you can see why I personally think for myself, if I were using this to clean something this extreme, I would use the 8-to-1. Okay, there you go. Extra Tough Multipurpose Cleaner Degreaser by Georgia Mel-Tex Industries.